All right, so dynamic warm-up should take somewhere between 10 and 15, probably 10 to 12 minutes. Once you've got good at it, once you know what you're doing, we're gonna start off with a perfect stretch. So we're gonna stretch out, take a big step into a big lunge. We're going to twist around our spine, and then we're gonna lean back and get a stretch of the hamstring through our front leg. We're gonna do 3 times on each leg. Here it is, first stretch. So the lunge into that, stretch the hip, lean forward with your elbow, and then rotate over the knee side. Big stretch through the thoracic, stand up, lean back, and stretch the front hamstring. We're gonna do that again. Down, up, stretch the hamstring. 2, 3. Then an RDL reach out. Ordinarily, I'd just do the 6 all the way up, so 3 on either side. Just want you to be able to see it from 2 different angles. So an RDL reach out, so planted leg. You're using your glutes and your hip on the planted leg. Slight bend in the knee. You want your body and your leg to get to horizontal. Really stretch out with that leg, and then reach forward. Your hands, big stretch. You'll feel a bit of stretch through your hamstring, your planted leg. We're turning the hip and the glutes on that planted leg as well. So a couple of steps backwards. And do this properly. 1, 3 on each leg again. Once again, I'll just go the whole way, one way, but I'll get you to sit from different angles. What you want to make sure that you're doing here is, as you're doing this, you're not overarching your spine this way as you're going. So you don't want to be doing that. We're going to keep your core engaged, nice and strong core, nice and straight. Next one, we're going to do a heel to toe walk. Then we're going to do a toe walk, then a heel walk. So probably 10 meters for each one of these. Just do 10 meters. So heel to toe walk, you can start on your heel and walk up to your toe. So you'll see this, heel, toe, heel, toe. So really working through the full range through your heels. You're just going to stay on your toes. And then on your heels. Once again, we're keeping the core nice and switched on. We're not overarching. Everything's on as we're doing our little walks. Knee over here. All right, knee hug. So next we're going to do knee hug with a passive end range. So what we're going to be doing through this one is we're going to do, once again, we're going to do 3 on either side. You're going to lift one leg knee up. You're going to keep, once again, you're not going to be overarching your spine. You're going to keep your spine and core nice and strong. You're going to lift your knee up. You're going to then tense and turn your entire body on, your right glutes, your core, your back, everything. You'll let go and hold for 2 seconds. Your objective is to keep this leg from moving as much as possible. Don't let it drop down. So you want to keep that tension in here. So you're going to let go, keep it up, 1, 2. So you can do that 3 times. I'll go for a bit of a walk. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Same thing, opposite way, quad stretch. So you're going to be lifting your quad up, lifting your foot up, stretching the quad. This time you're going to be using your glutes and or just really glutes, turning everything on, keeping everything nice and strong, letting go, trying to keep that drop of your foot to as minimal as possible, keeping that hamstring on. Once again, 3 either side. Stretch the quad, turn on the hammy, keep the foot up high if you can. Good. Stretch that quad, turn the hammy on, keep the foot up high. Good. Big stretch, hammy on. Big stretch of the quad, turn the hammy on, let go, keep that foot up high, keeping everything on. Stretch, hammy on, entire body on. Good. Next on the list, we're going to do hip cars, valve slide. All right, so hip cars, we're basically working on the rotation through our hips. So we're going to get down on all fours. Important thing here as we're doing this is you want to keep your hips nice and square. So we're going to be opening up our hips. What we don't want to do is move our whole torso around. So what we're trying to do is work on the rotation in our hip. So obviously if we're trying to work on that rotation, we want to keep our torso as still as possible, so our femur is actually getting as big a range of motion as possible. So I'm going to get down at about this angle here, get on all fours. Actually, I might not face this way. On all fours, and what you're going to do is you're going to lift whilst keeping your torso square. As I said, lift out to the side as high as you can. You're going to rotate backwards, so you're doing a bit of a donkey kick as high as you can here. Slowly bring the knee forward to your elbow, and then reverse the action. So keeping everything nice and still, just working on that range of motion through your hip. Out wide again, back, forward, reverse the motion. Boom. Just 2 on each side. It's 1. Nice and slow here. It's a very controlled movement, slowly increasing the range of motion through the hip. Keeping that left hip here low if you can. Try to keep your body from tilting. Keep that nice and square. Next is going to be a sideways lunge. So this one, we're going to go down 10 meters each way. So it's going to be a sideways lunge. Try to keep your feet in line. So big sideways lunge this way. Don't take your foot forward or backwards. Trying to do this in line. You'll feel a stretch through your adductors. So big stretch, which is a sideways lunge stretch. You're going to be using your adductor and the lead leg to pull your trailing leg forward. So using adductor, stretch forward. Again, stretch forward, pull forward, sorry. Big stretch, using the inside of your lead leg to follow up. Back the other way, do 10 meters each way. Big stretch. Once again, using the adductor of your front leg. Keeping your body nice and square, big stretch. When you do this stretch, you come complete loading up on your hip, not forward onto your knee, and then pulling forward with your adductor again, with your front leg. Yeah, that's the one pretty well explained. Hip circle, cat cow, bird dog. All right. So, hip circle, also known as a monster walk. Get yourself a band. This is to turn on the glutes. Stand a little bit more than hip width apart with your feet. Make sure your feet aren't caving in, pointing in like this. Nice and square. Knees wide. Your glutes will be the muscles, your glute means, the outside of your glutes will be the ones that keep pulling your knees apart. We're going to take a step. We're going to lead. Make sure that we lead. Make sure it's in this way. Make sure that we lead with our knee, not our foot. So leading with our knee looks like this. Leading with our foot looks like that. We don't want this. We want to make sure that our knee stays wide. So as we go, we're going to push with our knee here. We're going to make sure that our trailing knee stays wide as well. And then just going to let that catch up. So here we go. Once again, keeping our body nice and square, leading with our knee, then letting it catch up. And then back the other way. Lead with your knee, don't let the back leg, the back knee crash in. I will take that off. Cat-cow is a pretty simple yoga move. On all fours. And this is your nice solid neutral spine. You're going to curve, try and get all your vertebrae done. Big stretch. And then the opposite. So your belly is close to the ground as possible. Stretch with your neck up. Big stretch. I'm going to do 5 of these. Then we're going to do a bird dog. So once again, you get on to all fours. Once you're on all fours, you're going to back up. You can hear me from here. We're going to lift opposite arm to leg. So we're going to keep, once again, our spine nice and strong. We're going to lift right hand and left leg. So right hand's going to reach out, left hand's going to reach out. We really want to reach with both the foot and leg in the opposite direction. What we don't want to do, once again, is have that overarching spine like this. We want to keep everything nice and strong, core on, belly on. Big stretch. And then back, bring your left knee towards your elbow, elbow towards your quad, and then stretch again. They don't have to meet in the middle, not for what we're doing here. You can do 5 on each side. Big stretch. Big stretch. Okay. Next, we're going to do what we call swimmers. Swimmers get the shoulder rotation happening. Really similar to shoulder cars or controlled articular rotation, where we would do this. We're just going to do 2 arms at once, a little bit of an extra rotation at the back here as well. So I'll lay down, hopefully you can hear me from over here. Cool. So we're going to reach forward, literally let the shoulders up, thumbs towards the air. At the moment I'm talking so my head's up. As you're doing this, keep your head long this way. So you're going to rotate your arms straight, rotate your arms backwards. As you're rotating your hands, notice the thumbs are starting to point down and around. Your hands will then get horizontal, up, behind
behind your bum towards your lower back. And try to get your hands off your back, not actually touching your body at all. All the way through, reach forward. And back, slow. Thumbs in the air, rotate around.
Five of those bad boys. Banded pull-aparts. So pull-apart's really simple. You're going to grab the band, grab opposite ends of the band. You can change the difficulty level of this simply by how close or how far apart your hands are. And you're literally going to pull the band apart. Now what I don't want you to do is what I just did, which is, once again, big overarch of the spine. I want to keep your core on, not leaning backwards. So the core's on, you're doing this. However, what most people will do to do this is just use it as a back exercise. We're trying to get actual rotation happening through the shoulder. So what most people are doing is they're going to keep their shoulders back, and they're just going to use the rhomboids, the upper back muscles, to use this to get a squeeze. Now, if all you're doing is working in the back, that's great. We're not. We're going to be working through getting those shoulders moving. So we're going to go right through that full protraction, where your shoulders are far forward. Want to get the retraction as well. So this one, what we're going to do is we're going to pull back, shoulders obviously way back, belly on, and as you come forward, only come forward about this far, because you want to keep the tension on the band the whole way. But then when you get to this point, let your shoulders go forward. But you notice as I do this, my hands are staying wide, because I want to keep that tension. I don't want my shoulders to come forward and the band to come down. So you're just going to do 5 of these, stretching back, rotate forward, let your shoulders go forward, rounding. The other thing you don't want to do is as you come forward, lift your shoulders up. We don't want to be shrugging. We're just getting the shoulders moving. We're not doing a shrugging motion. A-skips. So we're going to start with the little bit more lower body stuff. We're going to get the blood going a little bit more. We're going to get the body ready to start lifting some weights, getting through some movements. So an A-skip is pretty much like a run. So you start with one leg raised. Drop that foot. As soon as that foot drops, you're going to bounce up with the other foot. It's a really explosive movement. We're going to do 10 meters. I'll go up and back. Here we go. So boom. Once again. As soon as that foot lands, the opposite's bouncing up. We're going to do the same thing in reverse. This time we're going to be opening up our hips. So it's a hip opener. That front foot is going to start forward. We're going to rotate out. Once again, we're trying to keep our torso really still. Rotating out as much as we can. As soon as that leg touches, the other one's going to bounce up. We're going to do the same thing. So it's A-skip in reverse whilst opening up our hips. So here we go. Boom. Okay, heart rate's starting getting up, starting to feel a little bit good, which is great. We're going to do a lateral shuffle, pull, and then pull. So we're going to start here. We're just going to shuffle. So what we're literally doing is we're just going to be shuffling. There's going to be 2 variations. The first one's going to be a pull. So the first leg is going to come up, push out a little bit further. And then to bring this foot up, we're actually going to be using the adductor. So we're going to be pulling on the front leg. So we're going to be pulling here. So show you that one. Pull, 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 pull. Come back the other way. Pull, pull, pull. And same thing again. We're going to be pushing off the back leg. So we're going to start in the same position. We're going to push. We're going to be pushing onto the other foot, and then the back leg's going to trail, and follow up. So push, replace, push, replace. So pushing off the back leg on this one. Starting to get some fun, getting fun now. We're going to do 10 meters either side with that one. We're going to do a step over. So we're going to be working a little bit on our rotation. If you're Brazilian or any kind of South American, you probably do the samba, so you do this one really well. Trailing leg is going to come behind the front leg. And then, so one step behind, trailing leg, the lead leg is going to move forward, then the trailing leg is going to come in front. So, here we go. And then back the other way. So a bit of a dynamic thoracic sort of stretch. Once again, 10 meters either side. We're going to do the same thing again. This is step over with a high step over. So the trailing leg is going to step behind, front leg is going to take another step, and the trailing leg is going to do the same thing again, but this time the knee is going to come high. So here we go. And back the other way. Okay, so we're going to do what we call pogo jumps at the moment. So you're literally going to keep your feet stand as high as possible on your toes, and you're just going to be bouncing like a pogo stick. Once again, what you want to do, make sure your core stays nice and strong. We're not overarching, we're not leaning forward, we're big and strong, we're keeping our knees nice and straight, we're just bouncing off our toes. So we're going to do 10 meters of this. And we're just going to do some tuck jumps. So similar thing to what we were just doing then, but we're going to be getting our knees up to our chest as we're doing it. So you can do 10 meters here, do a little bit of a gradual one if you like. So rather than doing a tuck jump from day one, you can just start off on your toes first. So here we go. Toes, toes, high. You're really bouncing here, bouncing. I need this bouncing. Really get the body going. Push. Pull. Jump, bounce, jump, bounce, bounce, bounce. Once again, 10 meters on either side. Now we're going to do a lateral bound. So you're going to be loaded up on one leg. You're going to make sure that, so lift one leg up, one leg on the floor, and you're going to load up your hip and your glutes. What you don't want to do is put your knee forward where you're going to be loading up your knee. You're going to be basically behind your foot, but you'll be able to load up your hip. Make sure you feel your hip and your glutes, or your glutes is what you'll feel loaded up. Obviously that's pushing through your hip. So we're going to jump at about a 45-degree angle. You're going to try and catch yourself with the other leg in the same position. So here we go. Load up, push, jump, and load up the hip here. Jump. See it from a different angle, load up the hip, jump, catch yourself with the glute. Boom. So make sure when you catch, when you land, once again, you're not landing forward on your knee there, you're leaning backwards, loading up the glutes. So try to make sure that you're keeping your body effectively. If you keep your body behind your foot here, you'll be landing on your glutes. If you're in front of your foot, knee. That's your warm up. Go have some fun.